morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Winston Cup Racing. It's a beautiful day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, certainly different from last weekend. The Pure Later 500 scheduled to go this afternoon, and Dale Earnhardt goes from the pole. Randy Pemberton is in our studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. He has the qualifying story and more. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Ned, and hello, everyone. Welcome to the AM edition of IWCR for Sunday, March 12th. In Atlanta, the Chevys are flying, and the Ford teams are crying out for help as they try to once again get their first checkered flag of the year today in the Pure Later 500. We'll have the pre-race report. Also coming up on this morning's show, former Washington Redskins coach Joe Gibbs has his Interstate Batteries team marching toward another victory with young Bobby Labonte behind the wheel. And we'll take a look at the rough start for the rookie crop of '95. All that and more coming up on this edition of IWCR.
Today's show is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires. This segment of IWCR is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Ford versus Chevy. It's been a fight for supremacy on the racetrack for nearly 50 years. But thus far this season, 3 straight knockouts for the Chevy contingent has the Ford bunch feeling a little beaten up. So they head for Atlanta hoping to steal round 4 and climb back in the fight. But once qualifying was complete, Ford found themselves against the ropes. Bill Weber has the tail of the tape for today's showdown. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Randy. Welcome to Atlanta, everyone. The Winston Cup Series rolled in here on Friday looking for its 4th different winner in the first 4 races. Now, Ford teams were anxious to get here because historically Atlanta has been a Ford track. But when the 42 cars roll off today, the 2 familiar names at the front of the field will be Earnhardt and Chevrolet. Friday, Dale Earnhardt swiftly sailed to his first pole of 95. His speed 185.077 miles an hour in the Goodwrench Monte Carlo.
Drives this track so well. I mean, everybody always seems to be amazed that you'll find all kinds of different lines here. This could be your first one of the year.
Well, it could be, and we've been real consistent, real strong all year. We just want to keep doing it, and I feel like we win our share of the races if we just stay consistent like we have, and if you keep shooting at them, you're going to hit them once in a while.
Bobby Labonte shares the front row, qualifying the Interstate Chevy 5/100ths of a second off of Earnhardt.
Stuck real well through the warm-up lap and stuck good through the corners during the qualifying, and, you know, just close to beat Earnhardt, but we're tickled with second. I mean, we know that we got a good race car, so hopefully it'll be good in the race.
Richmond winner Terry Labonte starts 5th, and Darrell Waltrip is 4th, landing 3 former Winston Cup champions in the top 5. And DW is ready to return to victory lane.
We've gained a lot of momentum at the end of last year, and we've just continued to build on that. We had a couple of bad races at Daytona and Rockingham, but the car ran well. So that's to be expected. We're real close to winning again. I think if the group I've got right now, if we could win 1 race, the sky would be the limit.
50 cars attempted to make this race. Loy Allen, Ben Haas, and Pancho Carter crashed in practice and failed to qualify. Ward Burton is 10th in points, but was not fast enough to make the field in the Hardy Chevy. And once again, Kenny Wallace goes home. Cars came to Atlanta with shorter spoilers and higher air dams mandated by NASCAR. The result?
When they took off of the rear, that really probably helped the Ford if they would have left the front alone. Well, they took the front off, and that equaled it back up. They were just doing it basically to slow the cars down, not to give either car an advantage. They just wanted to slow the cars down.
It hasn't really worked.
Has not really worked. Besides, I guess the pole speed still stands the track record from last fall.
And the changes had virtually no effect on the GM cars either. Earnhardt's been the quickest since he rolled off the rig. In final practice, only Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon could hang with Earnhardt, but we'll see what happens when they throw the flag a little after 1 o'clock today. Tires will not be a problem, and the weather ideal. Sunny and in the 70s. Randy, back to you.
Thanks, Bill. We'll see if the Count of Monte Carlo makes it to 4 this afternoon. They've got a good jump on it as we take a look at the top 10 qualifiers. There's Dale Earnhardt on the pole, 3 straight top 5 finishes. Labonte flanks him. He's looking to score his first ever Winston Cup win. Jeff Gordon rolls off 3rd. He and Earnhardt are the only 2 drivers to lead a lap in all 3 races. Darrell Waltrip will start 4th. His last win 72 races ago. Terry Labonte goes off 5th, last week's winner. Ricky Rudd in the Tide Ride rolls off 6th. Sterling Marlin, second in the points position. His best finish ever at Atlanta is third. Derek Cope, last win June of 1990. And rounding out the top 10, Bobby Hamilton continues his good qualifying runs. And of course, there's Dick Trickle in the Motorcraft Ford. Incidentally, Ward Burton, 10th in points, has been searching for a ride this morning after failing to qualify his Hardy's machine. At last word, he's had no luck. There were a few unlucky drivers yesterday in the Busch Light 300, but Johnny Benson was not one of them, as the second-year standout proved he will be tough as the Tour heads toward the summer stretch. He started it off yesterday with a convincing win. Here are the Busch Series highlights. Mark Martin led the field of 42 cars to the green flag for the Busch Light 300, but by the time the Winn-Dixie Ford driver got to turn 3, Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek made a meat sandwich out of him, and Mark lacked the mustard to lead the first lap. Then it was Chad Little's turn to bear down on the top spot. Chad had his Ford flying once again, and as the race settled down, it was he and Martin that became the two early contenders. With a temperature in the high 60s, it was a perfect day for racing. The track was quick and the competition keen. Unfortunately for several top teams, it would be an early exit. 1994 champ David Green was the first to go, and he narrowed up his Slim Jim Chevy, bringing out caution number 1 on lap 31. Under the yellow, Martin's Ford failed on pit road. He was pushed back to the garage with a 39th place finish. And that started a pattern of power plant problems. Outside pole sitter Joe Nemechek was next. Then Michael Waltrip popped one before the halfway mark. Once again, Little led the most laps on the day and looked to be too much for everyone to handle, although Johnny Benson and Mike McLaughlin were making their presence felt with a spirited battle for second. But shortly after what was to be their final green flag pit stops, several strong runners got caught a lap down because of this caution by Stevie Reeves. McLaughlin was able to stay on the tail end of the lead lap until his engine expired. Then Chad Little's engine began to sour. His 2 failed when he took the hard left with a little more than 20 laps to go. That left 4 cars on the lead lap, but only 2 contenders. Kenny Schrader showed the way, but with 10 laps to go, Johnny Benson began to pour it on in his Lipton Chevy. He ran down Schrader, set him up, and then sailed by and went on to his second career Busch Series win. Schrader finished second, followed by Jim Bound, and a solid performance by Tim Fedewa. Another news item before we look at the remaining starting grid for today's race. Former Winston Cup driver Harry Gant took a recent tumble on his Harley-Davidson, breaking a few ribs. He's recovering at his home in Taylorsville, North Carolina. Harry, hope you're feeling better soon. Don't forget, we'll have the post-race wrap-up tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Ned will be back in a moment, and as I promised, here's the rest of the 42-car field for today's running of the Pure Later 500.
We're at the brand new, beautiful, spacious facilities of Joe Gibbs Racing, which is located near Huntersville, North Carolina. This is headquarters for the Interstate Battery Chevrolets. Joe Gibbs started this team in 1992, hired Dale Jarrett as the driver, Jimmy Makar as the crew chief, but Jarrett left at the end of the 1994 season to drive for Robert Yates, but they were able to hire Bobby Labonte to replace him, and he seems to fit in real well with this team. Gibbs is determined to make this a championship team, just like he did the Washington Redskins in the NFL. Recently, Bill Weber had an opportunity to talk to Joe Gibbs about what he has done and what he is doing.
The reason why I'm so excited is that we're trying to build everything here from scratch. We're trying to build a race team that's as good as anybody's. And, of course, everybody knows that's a tremendous challenge. I love that. You know, it's so hard to do. And we've kind of gradually worked our way up and put all this together, and my sons are here with me. Now whenever I travel, I'm traveling with them, and it's family for us, and this is what we want to do. So that adds an extra dimension to it, I think. The excitement of putting together something that you could see your family owning, you know, and being successful at it. Yet, there's no givens in this. Your contracts are normally 1, 2, 3 years. Hey, you don't
Sometimes
perform.
a handshake.
Yeah, if you don't perform, you're out. So we got to make it go.
Coach Joe Gibbs is now quarterbacking a Winston Cup team on the rise. He's already a veteran of victory lane and is now building a game plan that will mold his Interstate Battery Chevrolet into an all-pro player. Last fall, Gibbs agreed to the release of veteran Dale Jarrett once he locked up promising prospect Bobby Labonte.
At this point, I was willing to kind of, because we were a more mature team, to maybe go for a little bit younger guy that maybe could wind up developing into a star. And Bobby was the first choice in the very beginning, but there was all kinds of complications on his side. And but then when that started to work out, we all started getting really excited because he was our first pick from the very beginning. I think it was, you know, working with GM and everybody there, they were so excited about him. His background, the fact he came up, his dad was in racing, his brother's in racing and won a championship, which is a similar situation and background to Dale's. I just thought he was a natural fit for us.
As coach, Gibbs displayed unbending passion for his profession and his people, investing relentless hours and long days that often blurred into endless and sometimes sleepless nights. Today, Gibbs still craves competition, but has modified his approach.
I think my role changed when I came over here. The long hour guy is Jimmy, and he's really the coach over here. I was the coach in the NFL, and that's the reason why I put in those kind of hours. You have to, if you're the coach, because you're here putting the cars together, just like over there I was putting the game plan together. I put in a lot of hours, but it's different now. I mean, you know, Jimmy has to be here working on the cars and staying here till late at night, working 6 or 7 days a week.
One big thing that Joe does is a sense of team. I mean, he's used to being in the trenches with the guys and working on teamwork and keeping guys pumped up and keeping attitudes right. He's been in competitive sports all his life, so he understands that even if you're good, things can happen that are out of your control. You know, as long as you're not making mistakes week in and week out, and something happens and knocks you out of the race or something like that, he understands it. He doesn't come back and harp on the guys and try to force issues. He just lets it go on and race.
So for Gibbs, the emotional motivator has been and still is a thirst for competition. And while the ultimate reward is winning, Gibbs cherishes the personal challenge of drafting the right people, then inspiring their efforts.
Joe's a person that's determined. I mean, he wants to win races and he wants to win championships. I mean, he's out there. He's got 3 drag race teams. He's got a Winston Cup team. So he's not just in it this week and going to be gone the next. I mean, he's going to be here for a long time. And makes you feel good when you got somebody like that that's so enthused about their race team and want to keep it going and want to do better for it and builds a new shop and just he's excited about it and makes everybody else excited.
One other thing I liked that I did think that I brought from football is the fact that, hey, football is still a people business. You pick good people, they're going to make you look good. Same thing over here in a team sport. You pick good people over here, they're going to make you look good. If there's anything I've ever done my entire life, I haven't done much. I'm not very smart in many things, but working with people, that's one thing that I spent my whole life doing.
This team has high hopes for 1995. Not only do they have a new facility, they build a lot of new race cars during the winter too, and have looked impressive in the early going. Still to come on this edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing, we'll have the mailbox. We'll also take a look at the rookies in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, so you stay with us. The IWCR mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Our question is from Susan Morrell from Grantville, Georgia. How does the crew know how much fuel and air to mix to get the maximum horsepower?
I'm Doug Yates with Robert Yates Racing. On our engines, we run them all across the dynamometer, and they'll give us an airflow reading and a fuel flow reading, and we try to keep the air-fuel mixture around a 14-to-1 air-fuel ratio, and that gives us a good baseline on what jets we need to run with the carburetor.
If you have a question, write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240417, Charlotte, North Carolina 28224. If we use your question, you'll receive a Miller Genuine Draft race team jacket.
Still to come, we'll take a look at the good rookie crop in NASCAR Winston Cup Racing this year. And as we leave you for this break, here's a look at what's coming up next week right here on IWCR.
Next Sunday, NASCAR racing returns to Nashville, Tennessee, the site of many Winston Cup memories and some exciting moments. This year, it's a renewal of racing history when the Busch Series takes the green for the Music City 320. We'll have the pre-race report.
The Winston Cup Series is off next weekend. That gives us a chance to review the first stage of the 1995 season with a close-up look at the points and the performance of some veteran teams.
Then we'll wrap up our conversation with the coach. Joe Gibbs left football for his family. Now he's building another winner with his sons helping to quarterback the team.
I'd like to wish my dad and everybody at Inside Winston Cup Racing a happy 10th anniversary.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing has been blessed with a lot of new talent coming in recent years, and it seems about this time of year, every year, we're talking about the great group of rookies we have. Well, certainly 1995 is no exception. There's a good crop this year, and they're in some very good equipment as well. Randy Pemberton profiles the 6 who are currently actively seeking the Rookie of the Year honors.
Rookie, from the Greek rukos, a recruit, and novice, a first-year participant in a major professional sport.
There are 6 Rookie of the Year contenders on the 1995 Winston Cup roster, each with his own impressive resume of racing accomplishments. But this is the Winston Cup Series. Resumes are replaced by rookie stripes, and the thrill of victory to which each is accustomed is now only a memory. Accomplishments are now registered in relatively unimpressive terms, as they each in their own way, with their own teams, try to rise to the challenge of qualifying, racing, and finishing in the fiercely competitive Winston Cup world. Randy LaJoie enters this season as the most seasoned of the 6. LaJoie has now logged 16 starts, spread out over 10 years, protecting his rookie status by never starting more than 5 in a single season. But his best finish this year is 26th at Daytona.
Well, I've been pretty comfortable. We run well. I mean, the guys on the crew have done a great job. We tore up a couple cars. We had a good race car at Daytona and got stuck in a wall and got wrecked the last practice at Rockingham and then wrecked again in the race. So I put us behind a little bit, but the race cars have been really good. And once we get some good finishes under our belt, I think we'll be okay.
Steve Kinzer comes to Winston Cup with more experience and more wins than all the other rookies combined. But his 14 World of Outlaw titles and nearly 400 wins all came in open-wheel racers on dirt tracks. And thus far, he's been forced to take 3 straight provisionals.
I feel like a rookie of rookies, so we got a ways to go yet. And let's just hope that all the guys on the race team could sort of bear with me a little bit. I mean, they deserve a lot more experienced driver than what they got. But they all stuck with me so far, and let's hope that they continue doing it.
Robert Presley was picked to fill the shoes and the seat for the retired Harry Gant. But to compare him with the original Bandit would be unfair, and Presley refuses to feel any pressure.
No, I'm just going to be Robert Presley. There'll never be another Harry Gant. He's the original Bandit, and he'll always be the Bandit. And Harry was so smart, he'd sit there and ride that race car, for 250, 300 miles and wait to see what was going to happen. He's a lot like David Pearson, and mine and Harry's driving styles is about as much as night and day.
Ricky Craven has a winning background in the Busch Series along with Presley and LaJoie. But in order to compete and eventually win on the Winston Cup level, he must first get used to the longer races.
I think 2 or 3 more races I'll become I'll get adjusted to that. And the middle part of the Rockingham race I was running awfully hard, and my seat wasn't comfortable, and didn't realize it till the very end. Busch races it was fine, but so there's a lot of little things that you probably can't read into, but there's just a little adjustments that I've got to make.
Davy Jones gave up a solid career in the IMSA Series to go Winston Cup racing. His background also includes IndyCar racing, in which he had 4 Indy 500 starts. But becoming a winner on the Winston Cup Series is his biggest challenge ever.
I decided that I'm going to make a career change. I had a great opportunity with the Jasper US Air team, and I just thought that this is where it's at. It's in NASCAR, and I'm with a competitive team, and now I've got to get myself up to the level of the team, and hopefully we can go out and win races in the near future.
But it's qualifying that these rookies must wrestle with. Jones failed to make the field in Richmond, and rookie Gary Bradbury is 0 for 3 so far this year. But when it's all over, it's the rookie with the best 15 finishes, along with some discretionary points, that will claim the Max Race Cars Rookie of the Year crown.
Well, I believe with that field, we can expect a spirited battle right down to the end for the Max Race Cars Rookie of the Year honors in 1995. Our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Our thanks to Joe Gibbs, Jimmy Makar, and all the folks here for allowing us to come into their shops. Join us again here on TNN for more on the Inside Winston Cup Racing.
Today's show has been brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires. Drivers, race teams, and race fans, the new season is here, and now's the time to get your copy of the 1995 Team Simpson catalog. Call 1-800-71-RACIN' and join Team Simpson today. The official conversion van of Inside Winston Cup Racing is Gladiator by Glavel, America's #1 luxury van. Glavel, the way we put it together, sets us apart.